Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or my list and sideboard guides before tournaments, check out Patreon or the YouTube membership program. This channel is made possible by these amazing sponsors. Check out all their links in the video description below. Once again, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, I'm playing an update of a recent favorite from Patreon subscriber Milan, who sent me Mirran Safehouse combo lands. The combo here is Mirran Safehouse has all lands of all abilities of all lands in all graveyards. Then you use Realms Uncharted to put Mutavault and Griffin Canyon in your graveyard. Mutavault activates to become a 2/2 with all creature types. Griffin Canyon, tap, untap target Griffin. If it's a creature, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. This is a self-contained creature that can make itself an infinite attacker, because Mirran Safehouse will be a 2/2 Griffin, among other things. It can tap itself to untap itself and give it +1/+1, and then you can attack with it. Also in the deck is Starlit Sanctum. Sacrifice a cleric. Target player loses life equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Mutavault is, in addition to a Griffin, of course, a cleric. So Starlit Sanctum gives you an out to win with your infinite creature without actually attacking if your opponent has blockers or you can't get through for some reason. All of this tucked pretty neatly into a Legacy lands deck. We've got Exploration, Crop Rotation, Thespian Stage, Dark Depths. All the usual suspects are here. Wasteland and Loam, Urza Saga, Maze of Ith. This is an established Legacy deck, has been for many, many years. Mox Diamond, it's one of the best Mox Diamond decks, and this combo goes in pretty smoothly. However, Milan kind of flipped it on its head this time. We still have Mirran Safehouse, but it's only a 1-of. And then there's another one in the Karn sideboard. This is also a 4 Karn deck, by the way. Manascape Refractor is a similar card to Mirran Safehouse, enters the battlefield tapped, has all activated abilities of lands on the battlefield, and you may spend mana as though were any color to pay the activation costs of Refractor's abilities. So this is a Mirran Safehouse that operates from play rather than from the graveyard, which is important because lands, being a Loam deck, is already a deck that's susceptible to graveyard hate, and Mirran Safehouse just runs headlong even harder into the graveyard hate that you're already playing around. Manascape Refractor lets you actually build out your lands onto the battlefield and then do all the same combos. And then we have Mirran Safehouse as a backup plan in case our lands are destroyed, or if our opponent isn't showing us hate, we can go for it that way. This makes more sense in a way, and it makes Realms Uncharted worse. Some of the feedback I gave at the end of the last league is we should probably just play 4 Realms Uncharted and turbo this thing out. And I think if we were still a Mirran Safehouse, dedicated Safehouse combo deck, that would be the way. But Milan took it a step further, and Realms Uncharted is still good tutoring, still works well with Safehouse, but Refractor, we want lands in play, not lands in the graveyard. We're a lands deck. So Refractor does what it needs to do here. Same combo, just a little sidestep against the hate that we expect to play against anyway. I mentioned we're a 4 Karn deck. We're a deck with Exploration, Mox Diamond, and Ancient Tomb. A fast Karn tends to win Legacy games. That's just a true statement of fact. The weirdest card in this deck, and Milan couldn't let me play a league without one super weirdo, is Multiclass Baldric. It's a 1-mana equipment, so it can come out of Urza Saga. It is tutorable. Equipped creature has lifelink if you have a cleric, death touch if you have a rogue, haste if you have a wizard, and flying, or haste if you have a warrior, and flying if you have a wizard. As long as you have a full party, prevent all damage that would be dealt to equipped creature. Guess what? Once again, Mutavault is a cleric, rogue, wizard, and warrior. So your Griffin will have flying and haste if you can attach Multiclass Baldric to it. Simple, right? And the wildest thing, which, once again, Milan couldn't let me go without something completely off the beaten path. The Book of Exalted Deeds is in this sideboard. If you played any arena formats, I'm sure you know about this one. I've played it in Pioneer on the channel before. White legendary artifact. It has some flavor text about gaining life and making angels, but the important part is another white. Exile Book of Exalted Deeds. Put an enlightened counter on target angel. It gains you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. Activate only as a sorcery. Guess what? Mutavault's an angel. There's a Lotus Field in the deck that we can crop rotate or Realms Uncharted for. Mirren Safe House gains the abilities of Lotus Field if it's in the graveyard. Manascape Refractor has it if it's in play. You see where this is going. White. Slap it on a Mutavault. Mutavault then stops being an angel and starts being a land, and many decks cannot remove a land. Wasteland's in the format, sure. Blood Moon doesn't stop this. No Brazen Borrower, Chain of Vapor, Abrupt Decay kind of stuff stops this. I don't think a deck like Doomsday or Storm could beat this. I guess Doomsday could have an Emrakul Juke in their sideboard, but most combo decks cannot remove a land from play. So that's what this is for. We'll see if it comes up. It is in the Karn package, and most combo decks also can't beat Karn. So if we've already resolved Karn and then spend another 7 mana on Book of Exalted Deeds, we better win the game. But I'm here for it. I don't mind a little jank on the fringes. And I think that's all the details. This is Milan's Griffins Uncharted Lands update. Let's do it. Opponent has revealed a Yorion, and Death and Taxes is back on the menu now that we are out of the initiatives meta. I am going to keep this hand. I've got Loam, land drops to make crop rotation. This is a great start. Other runes, you got it. Another Loam. Didn't really need the second one, but I'm not mad about it. If they play Thalia, I can crop rotate for Caracas, bounce Thalia in the end step, untap, play Loam, picking up 2 lands. Aether Vial, sure. Okay, I'm going to check what's in my deck here, because they did lead on Wasteland. What I can do here is fetch for Bayou, rotate Bayou into another fetch, land crack fetch, and just get a full value Loam. But I don't need to do all that, so I'm just not gonna. Just gonna fetch another basic and cast Loam. There we go, simple. Don't need to get too fancy. Kind of a shame I didn't get the Thalia line there, the flip for Caracas, bounce Thalia, untap, get 2 lands back, but it's all good. Still have 7 cards in my hand. What's the rush? There are exactly 3 basics in the deck, so I can get my safe house down in time. They have Rashadenport. They have Recruiter of the Guard. I think I'm just going to shove Safe House this turn. It depends on what they tutor for, but if I shove Safe House this turn, off 3 basics, and then they try to port me, oh, nope, Lion Sash. JK, glad we have the Refractor. I'm not going to dredge this Loam. I don't need to. I have land drops to make. What's the rush? And Refractor is all lands on the battlefield, including their Wasteland, their Rashadenport. I'll take some of that. I get Forest and play Refractor. And now let's party. They're now on notice that this is weird. And Manascape Refractor having the abilities of Rashadenport means that I could port their Iganjo if they don't come up with more white sources, turn off Lion Sash, and maybe thread the needle here. 2 ports and the Vial. That's annoying. I don't have a Exploration currently, but if they port me twice, they don't get to Sash. I could also Wasteland their Iganjo with my Refractor. That works too. They also can't port Refractor because it's not a land. This is fun. Okay, here's the Vial. Is it the Sash? Sash might also just snap off on Loam immediately. They don't know that I have another one. Cool. Now, if they port me, I can Realms Uncharted in response and snap off a Loam in the interim. Okay, so get to Realms Uncharted, make my land drop, and play Loam here. Yeah, we're doing it. I think I have to put Boseiju in the mix here. That kills the Lion Sash, and then I can do what I want to do after that. Boseiju is involved. Mutavault. Is it time for a Canyon yet? Might as well get my combo set up, right? Canyon, and I'm not ready for Sanctum. I gotta work through a Wasteland before any of this really hits. I could get the Lotus Field. Now, this is a deck that's very good at removing lands. Even if they're out of Wastelands, they could Flicker Wisp. It doesn't sound good. Might just be Tranquil Thicket. Get my engine online. Okay. This works for me. They can't really give me Boseiju, or else I clear Lion Sash for free. Great. I draw for turn. My own Rishadan. Could just run Canyon out here. That invests in next turn. I mean, they have Wasteland, but whatever. Removing Canyon is kind of annoying. Maybe I'll just run out Port. But getting their Wasteland off the board, don't hate. Okay, I'm going to play Stage and cast Loam, targeting the things that I want. I'm going to have to discard 2 of these. It's okay. I'm going to discard the Foothills. And I guess Port. I already have a Port in play. Unless I want to port them twice and try to lock them down. Do I think Baldric is the way to go? And flying is an ability that this deck struggles with. Okay, I will discard the Rishadan Port. Their Vial does go up to 3 here if they want it, so Flicker Wisp could save a Lion Sash. I'm not exactly a lands master, and queuing into the Rishadan Port Wasteland slow grind mirror round 1 of this league, not gonna lie. It is it's heavy, it's tiresome. Oof, and they have come up with a Field of Ruin, which, good guess, I'm out of basics. They tap their Wasteland to do it, though, so that's okay. But it does give them a second white. They can eat my Loam and whatever they're most scared of. I don't have a Tabernacle in this deck to harass their mana. Oh. Karn does not care much for Lion Sash or Aether Vial. There is a Mazavith in the deck. Interesting. This Karn could just die. Like that's live. I would prefer that doesn't happen. I could crop rotate for a Mazavith after. I could also just commit my Boseiju, the thing that I plan to, but that plays into the Flicker Wisp. If in response to Karn they just eat a permanent, they have 2, 3, 4 power on board. Yeah, I think I suddenly want to Karn and use crop rotation to get Mazavith, but they left up Rishadan board in the end step. But if they do that, they can't eat anything from my graveyard. Okay, I'm going for the... Oh, and the Refractor plays around Rishadan port anyway. That's messed up. Okay, they do have something. It was Flicker Wisp. Do I have something that crop rotates to blow this out? Don't think so. Nope. I need that crop rotation for Maze of Ith reasons. And I think I just plus on... Or I can make a 3/3, but then they could kill it. Is a colorless 3/3 even something I'm interested in? And at the expense of turning on Swords to Plowshares? I'm not going to wish this turn, because then Karn definitely dies 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, I'm just going to plus on nothing and pass the turn. I think that Refractor holding up crop rotation is just too important here, as much as I'd like a 3/3 blocker. And Refractor just hanging out, ignoring Port and Wasteland as a mana source in this matchup is nice. And they probably just get, now that I've plussed Karn, I suspect they'll get the Exile Friend, Skyclave Apparition. Shame I'm exactly a mana short. I could almost Wasteland them off that. Oh, they got another Flicker Wisp. Okay. Yeah, I'm 1 mana or 1 loyalty short here from wasting them off double white, and then they can't flicker anyway. Here comes everything. I'm gonna crop rotation away my basic forest or Griffin Canyon. I guess I'm really close to going off, so I'm gonna rotate a forest away. Get Maze of Ith. Send this Flicker Wisp back where it came from. And Karn hangs out with a Wish still available. There is a Pyrite Spellbomb in my sideboard. I don't have red mana currently. There's a Haywire Might. Thalia is not bad. Okay, can I go off here? We'll see what they do with their mana. Floating green. Or not floating green. What does floating green do for me? I could just cycle my Tranquil Thicket. Draw a card. I could also Boseiju here. I'm going to cycle. Oh, another Boseiju. Cool. They're holding up Wasteland. Okay, Mutavault. I am hilariously the Baldric away from winning this game. I know they're holding Flicker Wisp, so grabbing Ensnaring Bridge doesn't really matter. I also have 6 cards in my hand, so that's not helpful. Sitting on this Wasteland the whole game's been rough. I could activate Refractor. Okay. Mirren's Safe House currently is active. It doesn't do anything. Okay, I'm going to play Mutavault and activate Refractor. If they Wasteland in response, untap target Griffin. I will make this an infinite creature. Is there a crop rotation line that gets me to... I'm trying to determine if there's a crop rotation line that gets me to Sanctum, but I don't think there is because of Thalia. And if they try to Wasteland Griffin Canyon at this point, I can use Griffin Canyon to untap the Refractor. I don't have access to black. And it would cost me 4 to put Baldric into play and equip it. Okay, I can attack with this 20/20 and demand a block. I could rotate for Caracas. Doesn't really help. Clears Thalia, but I think I'd rather have a crop rotation available than not. Do I think they'd rather block with Thalia or Wisp? And does it matter? Okay, I'm gonna go to my attack and eat one of these creatures. I hope I eat Thalia here. I think Thalia is hurting me more than Flicker Wisp. I don't know. Flicker Wisp blocked and then unblocked. Wonder if they're just deciding on like Solitude, but if I gain infinite life, that's not good for them either. And I can do the Maze of Ith trick where after damage, Maze of Ith my Refractor, and then end up with an extra mana after combat that they don't think I have. After much deliberation, they did block with Flicker Wisp. I'm gonna actually save the Maze of Ith because untapping this doesn't matter that much. And I could untap my creature with Griffin Canyon one more time and then animate it for the turn. It gives me something to do next turn. Or I could just hold up a Boseiju. I'm gonna untap my Griffin one more time because as long as this is untapped in play, it's also a Maze of Ith. And if I plus it, it gives me the blocker. Oh, it's not a creature. Tilt. Okay, yeah. Okay, I guess I'm plussing Karn on nothing then. Yeah, Karn activates non-creature artifacts, and this is already a creature artifact. I am worried about time here. I think that I can do this, but I'm several minutes behind my opponent right now, just trying to figure out how this deck works and how all these pieces work. All right, wasting my maze. I could crop rotate this now. Probably should do that. I don't know what I'm going for, but I'm not giving them a free Wasteland. I could get the Caracas. That at least takes Thalia out of the mix. Yeah. All right. This technically leaves Karn in play. Cool. And if I can keep Lion Sash and Aether Vial Sleepy, then I'm ahead. I just keep them in the Abyss with my infinite creature. The Baldric might be able to arrive next turn if Thalia's not here to pressure it. They bounce Thalia, Karn stays at 1. And I am F6, time to recoup these 2 minutes that I've lost somehow. Whatever you do, it's going to happen. And if they port me, I can use the port to activate the Refractor for a giant creature. They can't actually use their mana to replay Thalia because I can bounce it and attack for infinite. That Mother of Runes makes sense. Okay, draw for turn. Wasteland, huh? What does that do for me? I can Play Wasteland. If I waste their white source, what happens? They have Thalia, Flicker Wisp, unknown cards. Baldric gives Flying Haste, Death Touch. Hexproof is not what any of the words on here. Okay. Wasteland. All right, activate Refractor. I guess I could be plussing Karn, huh? And then it would be a 3/3 with all the same abilities. Yeah, I'm wasting mana here. Shit, that was bad. Okay. Baldric. And if they have Swords to Plowshares, I gain infinite life. If they don't, they lose. Whip this. Okay. Untap target Griffin. Schadenport my Griffin Canyon. Well, I guess if they thread the needle right now, then this works. Yeah, I may have actually messed this up by not plussing Karn on my Refractor. And they do have the Swords to Plowshares, of course they do. I deserve this. Okay, I have messed this up and deserve to lose for it. Karn, activate Baldric, and pass the turn. Yeah, that was bad. Plus Karn gives me 3/3 with extra mana open. I could have wastelanded their Schadenport, which takes them off of all the stuff they want to do. That's one of those things that happens once, and then you know how it works, and I have messed it up here. If I were them, I would attack with everything except Lion Sash here. That clears Karn and opens up Lion Sash. I will trade with the Lion Sash so fast if that's available to me. Okay, block that. Karn still dies, but Lion Sash is out of play. Are they trying to activate it right now? Oh, Ephemerate. Yuck. Okay. Now we're blown out because Mirrored Safe House was my backup plan, and I still have Boseiju. Okay, they passed with all of their stuff still available. No Thalia. Didn't put Yorion in hand. They must be valuing Schadenport over most options here. Okay, I'm gonna wasteland their white source right now. This lets them Lion Sash one time. And then I can Boseiju the Lion Sash and then play Mirror Safe House. Exiling the Wasteland itself, sure. Wasteland's gone. And you're targeting Griffin Canyon. I'll use that to Boseiju the Sash. Get a Plains here, but that's okay. The thing that was using the white mana is gone. And how would we do? Baldric costs 2 to equip, which is more than I have. I think that means I should Bojuka Bog them, play Safe House. Here's Safe House. This has the abilities of Mazabeth. Do I want it to be a Field of Ruin? I don't really care about their graveyard, and I do care about having one more mana in play for next turn. Okay, there's that. Go. Their Ephemerate comes back down here. It's going to target Recruiter, of course, and then they could get Solitude. I am making this tricky enough that I'm getting back time on my clock. I was down by a full 2 minutes, and now it's 1. And I get to just relax here. Warren of the Third Path, bummer. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. And I don't think there are any lands in my graveyard that save it. What can I do with this? I could fetch Bayou. That doesn't seem bad. All right, yeah, I don't have enough mana to turn it into a basic with Thespian Stage. So I think it's still an artifact if that happens. Deck's complicated. Bayou. Thalia is back. I still have Caracas. They can push for at least 1 damage here. I think it's pretty safe to attack with Mother of Runes, though, against my deck. Lotus Field. This land has hexproof, and it puts a bunch of lands in my graveyard, which is not a bad place for them, honestly. How about this? Animate Mutavault, attack with a 3/3. Oh, wait, I can equip it with Baldric as well. Attack with a 3/3 flying lifelink, Death Touch, etc. Untap target Griffin, hell yeah. Take your beats. And then Lotus Field. Sack any 2 lands, okay. Lotus Field can sacrifice Bojuka Bog and probably should have sacked Bayou. Yeah, they have plenty of targets for Wasteland. I'll sack a basic. Okay. Well, now that engine is online. If they wish for Yorion, I'll Boseiju Vial in response. Oh, right. That's a special action that doesn't use the stack, isn't it? Great. Okay. Well, can't do that. Needed to do that sooner than I did. I bounce Thalia. Maybe I'm supposed to bounce Lauren. I don't know. I could do this now. The Boseiju. That at least saves me some damage. Yeah. This one's slipping away, but I will save the damage at least. Because if they want to flicker the Lauren and the Recruiter, that's 3 damage that's not happening in combat, and this is going to happen anyway. Special action, huh? Yeah, I guess you can't stifle that. Okay. If I was more heads up and remembered exactly how the rules work, that Vial would not have been in play on their turn. Stoneforge Mystic, that's a real clock. Wasteland. I don't know if this is helpful. No waste to Rashad Port though, because they can. They're going to tap my Mutavault because they can. That's fine. And I'm going to bounce Lauren. I'm just trying to save time here. I do have live draws. Like any of the equipments, the Karn, there's stuff that could happen in this game still. So I could have animated Mutavault, untapped it, and blocked. I should be doing that. That was bad. Whoops. I'll tighten up next turn. Hey, the Refractor's here. What's up, big guy? Are you scared now, opponent? Probably not. They're showing me Solitude, though, because they have Stoneforge Mystic and Flicker Wisp and didn't cast either of those things. And what 5-mana thing isn't those things? Lauren, oh, right. I did, in fact, know about this. What can I do? Can I do anything? Thespian Stage is not in play right now. Okay, shit. I did literally just bounce that thing before letting them attack again. Okay. Lands are hard. They're holding up Rashad Port so they can tap this, but let's do it. Okay, they do have Solitude. Bounce Yorion to save life here, and then F6. What am I looking for? Karn? Is Karn even helpful or good here? Probably not. It's among my better draws, though. Like, Ensnaring Bridge actually does kind of play here. Blast Zone I'm not embarrassed about. Destroy this immediately. That takes out the Moms and the Vial. Bounce Thalia past the turn. Spirit of the Lab. Okay. I don't do a lot of card drawing. It is a 3/1 creature, though. It's time to attack. 3/4. All right, I have exactly enough to Karn and play Ensnaring Bridge. Karn off the top. Let's go. Karn. Does this do anything? I feel like I'm wasting time even looking. All right, I am just going to pass. We each draw a card. Right. That is how this works. The Spirit. Yep. Lots of cool moving pieces in this one. All right, and Cauldron's in hand. I should have just F6'd. I can't win this game. I'm just trying to recoup some time here. But I am up on the clock right now. There's no Glacial Chasm. My 1 Ensnaring Bridge is already gone. Crazy game. Up 30 seconds. We both have 5 minutes. Nobody's finishing this match. Just saying. Force of Vigor is good. AYR Might is good. I think it's better in my deck than it is in the Karn package. Do I want to just max out on Refractors and Safe Houses and not put them in the Karn package? If I do, what does that even do for me? I don't really need Bojuka Bog in my deck. Yeah, maybe I just have to be a Karn board because I don't have that many things I want to cut. Good chance they have Rest in Peace, but that's what Force of Vigor is for. Crop Rotation's great. I'm going to cut the Baldric. That did cool stuff, but this isn't really a matchup you can just cheese on because they always have a Plow or a Solitude or something. Maybe I'll just go 2 forces and call it a day. Okay, good start. I'll keep it. The Crop Rotation plays around Wasteland, and I have Urza Saga, like Anjo. Urza Saga was did not make an appearance in the last round. Flagstones and Thalia. Okay. I am not going to rotate for Arrakis here. Vault. Basic Plains. Thalia can attack fearlessly here. And I'll fearlessly take damage. Oren of the third path. That will resolve. And then I can float a mana and crop rotate this away. I think I will get Arrakis this time. Bounce your Thalia. Then Boseiju. Exploration. Vault. Refractor. That's a turn. I can spin up a Canyon this turn and go for lethal next. Lauren having Vigilance is a beating. Wasteland, huh? Yeah, don't tap that Wasteland. I mean, I want them to, but I hope they don't. Crop rotation. Yeah, Griffin Canyon. Where is it? There it is. Okay, the combo is assembled. They can't plow now because of Thalia. Ox Diamond doesn't matter. This a Mutavault. Take this a Griffin. This does unfortunately take a lot of time. Okay, we got 20. That is the number I need. Back. Is it Solitude or Chump Block? Chump Block, deal. Both draw a card. Okay, I'll take one of those. And then I'll end my turn. Schadenport, Flicker Wisp. Flicker Wisp flickers Loran, which kills my Refractor. Yep. Guess that is true. Is there anything my Refractor could do? Yes, my Refractor can Schadenport them. Take a 2/2. Untap this. Tap target land. Okay. Coast is clear for Wooded Foothills to be drawn. Not exactly what I was looking for. Mutavault. And Mutavault, fire up. Everybody's going in. Okay, take 5, pass the turn. I am a full minute behind on my clock again. My deck just takes more clicks than theirs does. They try to get clever with Loran. I have Boseiju this time. Rest in peace. Yeah, that's pretty good. I draw, I get a Wasteland. I don't think that really does anything I need it to. Guess I'll attack with my creatures, though. This is the play I have. We both draw a card. Boseiju in response. Thanks for the card. Crop rotation. Normally a pretty good card. Currently not doing much. Okay, opponent's at 10. I'm at 12. Apparition can take my Exploration. That has not made a single extra land drop since the turn I played it. Recruiter. Stoneforge. The third Mox Diamond. Not what I wanted ever. I am just going to concede this game. I can't win 2 games in 1 minute, and I don't even think I can figure out what this crop rotation would best do. And then I couldn't click through my combo in the time we got it. This was a crazy grindy matchup. I think this would be really interesting in paper, where the chess clock isn't going to decide the game. I definitely made some missteps in game 1 because I'm still getting used to this deck and playing it against that deck. And yeah, loss, no finish, whatever you want to call this result. This was an informative 50 minutes. Jeez. Next round.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
I'm on the draw in round 2. I have an Exploration hand I'm going to keep. I don't even know if this is great, but having Exploration versus not having Exploration is pretty exciting. I can just play around days if I wait a turn. And it's not like my hand is going anywhere quick, so I'll just chill on this basic forest. Maybe leading on Misty is better, because then they don't... It doesn't rule me down to just a basic Forest Go deck. Brainstorm. Misty, I could be any Ponder, Brainstorm, most combo decks, and the Misty represents the same basics, so yeah, probably better to lead on Misty. Mishra's Bauble. Alright, looking like some Delver over there. In which case, I am glad that I played around Days on Exploration. If they have minor misstep, then good job. You have that card. I could just shove Lotus Field now. I don't think I want to do that, though. I'm going to play my Bayou. These are the type of games we can just win the fair lands way. If this is Delver and they're not in a hurry to get anything off the ground, a Loam will really crack this open. They have their one basic in play already. And now they're in a spot where wastelanding me is probably reckless because I'm ahead on exploration land drops. And if we're both wasting each other, someone's probably wrong about it. Not that I'd really take the average bet about whether I'm playing lands better than my opponent playing whatever their deck of choice is, but I feel like if we both just start firing off wastelands, I'm doing it right. Did not shuffle. There's Wasteland. Channeler. Okay. It is the maximum that it can be. And I'm going to fetch because there are only 2 forests in my deck this can get, and I might as well cut them. Wasteland, and having Dark Depths makes this pretty interesting. Wasteland, I could play Lotus Field right now, sack my Bayou and my Forest, and then we're in just crazy mode. Also just play Mutavault. Okay, I think this is fine. And with 2 Besajus in my hand to answer their Wasteland, I'm just going to go ahead and waste their Volk right now. I'm looking for Thespian Stage now. Preordain. Okay. So we're low to the ground here. The Expressive Iteration slot has been getting filled with things like Predict or Chart a Course, or people are trying all sorts of stuff. Preordain is the obvious, I'm not trying to go anywhere but into your face decision. Okay, they've missed their land drop. Bottom, Preordain. Give me some action, please. Action like Mirror and Safe House. Don't mind if I do. I suspect this might earn a Force of Will if we play it. Okay, I'm going to play one of the Besajus and then cast Mirror and Safe House. We know their hand is all spells. This can be a Misty Rainforest, a Volcanic Island, or a Wasteland right now. Right now being the operative information. They're thinking about it. They've got something. Force of Will, pitching Brainstorm. Yep, fair enough. Probably the right decision. And I'll attack my opponent for 2. If they want to wasteland this, I don't mind. And then I will Lotus Field, dumping Bayou and Besaju. Is it weird enough for you yet, opponent? Got a Ponder to go with their DRC. Mill to Daze. Did not shuffle, found the land. My life total is reducing, but I've got stuff I can do, maybe. Do I just Besaju this Wasteland and start slow melting depths? Do I attack with Mutavault and hope that they send a Lightning Bolt on that? I think the Mutavault attack is pretty free. Okay, we're getting Lightning Bolted. That's fine. Oh, you have a basic mountain in your deck. Interesting. We are all the way in the Stone Age on technology here. The basic mountain's great because it doesn't cast Murktide. Now I can't Besaju. I can just run out the depths, though. If they try to wasteland it, I could crop rotation in response, theoretically. Oh, we're doing this. Uh-oh. Okay. That will increase the clock. Okay, I'm already taking damage in 5-point chunks, so fetching here doesn't change the clock. And I can take a counter off depths. Scared yet? Thespian Stage off the top? Shit. Alright. This is a case of... This is what I was worried about when I kept my opening hand, which was 6 lands and exploration. I've drawn 1 Mirror and Safe House in 7 turns, as far as non-lands go. And that's not enough to win a game with. I'm not going to melt 2 counters. I'm going to keep representing that I could do something else. Thespian Stage right now. Life from the Loam gets me Wasteland, Mutavault, Bayou. These things don't matter. I guess Mutavault could technically block, except that it can't. If I kill Wasteland, it can. Okay, Beseju your Wasteland. If they have literally any spell, I lose. I guess Loam would have been better than Beseju, because I have Wasteland in my graveyard and I have 2 land drops. This just doesn't matter, we're dead to everything. We know their hand is 4 spells because they've been missing land drops, and if they have any spell, they win. They're currently deciding if they'd rather have blue or take out my depths, and they decided to take out depths. Depths, Mutavault, Wasteland, or Beseju. This also doesn't matter. I've been unimpressed with Tabernacle in all of my brews for like the last year and a half. Every land's brew starts with a Tabernacle and it never does what it wants, and I've just kind of stopped including it. And this is 2 for 2 in this league in matchups where I wish I had one. Okay, they cast Daze, which I can pay for, but it puts a lethal threat into play. Or did I target Beseju? Because these tokens are artifacts. Did target Beseju? Does that matter? So if I go Mutavault and Mox Diamond, discard Dark Depths, I can activate Mutavault, block, and kill the soldier. Okay, we're still dead to everything, but got a plan. Trying to see one more draw step against the hyper-efficient Delver deck with lightning bolts. And my plan to stay alive also involves giving them extra mana, which has been their only gate this whole game to fully just obliterating me. Oh, good. They drew Wasteland. We don't even have to pretend to play this out. Okay, now that I know against Delver, I can plan a little differently. My endurances come in. Cards that are less important. Caracas will not find a home here. I don't think I can go in on Baldric, though the lifelink is somewhat relevant. But their whole deck flies, and most of the point of Baldric is flying. I just want to be a Loam-based prison deck against Delver. I don't even really care about my combos that much. Do I just cut Lotus Field in any matchup where Book of Exalted Deeds isn't good? I think that sounds reasonable. In Lotus Field, if you mill it over and just get it for free off Safe House is crazy good, but yeah, I'm just not impressed by that one. This deck could conceivably have Blood Moon in it. They're kind of a throwback version of Blue-Red with a bunch of basics and stuff, but I'm okay with that. I will keep this hand. I wish it had a fetch land or a crop rotation, something to get Loam going, but I'm not afraid of a Loam with no targets on turn 2. And these endurances are rock solid. Channeler. Okay, I can play Maze of Ith to take the pressure off. If they waste it, it gives me a target for Loam. Iconoclast quickly murders Maze of Ith. Oh my god. A Kingdom for Tabernacle. Attack, I push it away. Avamaya. That one actually rules, because then I can cast Endurance all of a sudden. Maybe I should have started on Refractor, but if I can get Endurance in and eat this Iconoclast before it completely takes over the game, I'm cool with that. And if they have Daze, I will take my medicine here. Lightning Bolt doesn't work. A Brazen Borrower is not pretty, but it works. Force of Will, I'm kind of happy with. The Blowout is Daze, which is a card that may or may not still be in their deck in the full quantities, being on the draw against lands. JK. It's there. They cannot pay 1. And I'll take 4 damage. Oh, am I getting... Oh, they're fetching to get Delirium. Sure, that makes sense. I'll take 6 damage then. And... Snow-Covered Forest and Manascape Refractor. Or, no, I think I'd rather try another Endurance this turn. I have Endurance plus Maze now. You just get extra paid. Not to be confused with Extirpate, which is a magic card. Okay, they went into combat before using Wasteland. I like that. That way my Maze of Ith still works. If my Endurance gets to block, I'm going to go after Iconoclast, not DRC. Because DRC is going to be tiny here anyway. But they have Force of Will. Okay, guess I'm going after Iconoclast, or DRC after all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 damage on the board. 8 if they use their Wasteland. 1 card left in hand. Drop this Refractor, which unfortunately gets blown out by Wasteland. Also should have played my land first. Now if they daze this, I have to tap my Maze of Ith to pay for it. Ugh, I'm playing so bad right now. We're in there on that. Griffin Canyon is in play. I fully expect the Wasteland on Maze at this point. They can just make this game over, especially, I mean, if they have Lightning Bolt, I'm literally dead. Brazen Borrower, literally dead. Anything that deals 2 damage right now. Even just Brainstorm into another Brainstorm puts 2 damage on the board. 1 Endurance in play would have completely changed the texture of this game. Maybe I just played sloppy and I need to take the land's posture of do anything to not die, and I just activate Maze of Ith on turn 3, play Endurance on turn 4, it gets forced, the next one can't be dazed. Maybe that was the line I needed to take here to slow this board down. Okay, we are on their turn. They haven't wasted me yet. That doesn't mean anything. Smash to dust. Okay, that destroys my artifact. That artifact was important to me. I can't untap this. It's not a Griffin. I can't Wasteland them. Yep, nothing good here. They are saving their Wasteland for... And that makes perfect sense. It doesn't change the clock, and this way they don't die to some random combo. They're 100% right not to Wasteland me here. They've got 1 card in their hand. Is there a draw that wins this for me? I don't think it's that one. I don't have a Tabernacle. I guess I'll cast this card. See what happens here. Tabernacle doesn't save me anyway because they can pay for a bunch of their stuff. They also just have Wasteland. Yeah, there's nothing I can do here. Okay, GG's. Good chance I got too pushy. Should have let Maze of Ith do its job, and I threw away one of my Endurances this game, which would have changed everything if one of those resolved. No Tabernacle hurt for the 2nd round in a row, and Third Path Iconoclast, absolute monster. That's not a card that's getting, or was getting played in a lot of Delver decks. I haven't really seen it pick up a lot since the bans, but we saw there when I'm trying to hide behind Maze of Ith, it is exactly what the doctor ordered. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the play in round 3 against Joe L, who is someone we know on this channel. They are the sneak and show, or sneak, no sneak, Omni Reanimator blue-black person. I've played against them a number of times. I've played their deck on the channel. They're one of my Patreon members. We like Joe. Let's see how this goes for me. Forest, Exploration. I'm going to start here and ram out an Urza Saga. I don't really need to Mox Diamond here. It doesn't change anything yet. Let's hope he's on one of his stable hands rather than a fast hand. His deck can go both ways. Congrats to Joe for recently trophying with the most recent version, by the way. Bajuka Bog, awkwardly not where I want it to be in my hand here. If he goes Entomb, Reanimate, we're in some trouble. Would have loved a Wasteland there. I guess I could have Realms for it, but it just doesn't give it to me if it's not right. I don't know. Rex in the graveyard. There is Karakas in my deck. There's also Boseiju in my deck. Boseiju doesn't care about Reanimate. I think I want to fire off the Realms Uncharted before he gets to make his choices here. If a Force of Will ends up in hand, it's just going to force. So, pretty safe. Okay, head force anyway. Fearless. Nothing to lose here. His deck is built for stability more than speed, and we still got turn 2 reanimated with force backup. With a reload. Get you a girl that does both. This Atraxa flip is pretty bad, though. Took Archon, Animate, Sea, and Vault. This is where not having all the goofy stuff in my deck would be great if I could just tutor for Expedition Map and then Expedition Map for Karakas and Stabilize. It's a game I'm more interested in playing. There's only one thing to tutor for, so I'm gonna make my construct and I'll get my multi-class Baldric. I have a Mox Diamond that I already haven't bothered to use this game. I'll try to slow down the inevitable show and tell. And it's your turn. First giant hit of life and exploration. We are not getting out of this one. Okay, we're just dead. You can Limdwell's Vault for whatever he wants here. Show and tell Archon next turn, etc. Endurance comes in. The Book of Exalted Deeds is awkward because Joe is a combo deck that can answer it. He's got Emrakul that can annihilate my land eventually. Soul Guide Lantern comes in for sure. I think Haywire might. I mean, Haywire might. This is an Omniscience deck. It's also an Animate Dead deck, and I happen to know, because I'm privy to this information, that he's on more Animate Deads than any other Reanimate spell because of Atraxa specifically, caring about enchantments in your deck. Okay, who is bad here? I think Baldric gaining zillions of life is worth having. So you got to cut the bad card somewhere. I'm bringing in up to even 8 cards. A Blast Zone doesn't matter. Caracas is good. Schadenport is fine. I need Depths. I need Tomb. Loam, Realms Uncharted, Karn. Ugh. It's really hard to sideboard with this deck. I mean, I could cut Refractors. They're still in the Karn package if we get there. But that removes my ability to just combo out on top of you. I think Refractor is better than Safe House. Soul Guide Lantern has to come in. Endurance is fine. Forces and Mights. All right, Might's not going to happen. Force might still happen. Mazabith is good. Lotus Field is the only route to book. But book isn't a lock against this deck. It will buy me a bunch of time, but it's not a lock. All right, I am going to cut the field for a force. Yeah, I just have no way to answer show and tell at all. Except don't let it happen. Okay, this matchup feels horrendous. Okay, this one is kind of a fast Dark Depths with Mazavith involved. And crop rotation. I'm going for it. And I'll play Tranquil Thicket. Unfortunately, my only green source. Got a Polluted Delta and a fetch. Off of a basic. Ponder did not shuffle. Just what I like to hear. Play Thespian Stage and Exploration. Exploration can drop Mutavault. I do have a terrible answer to Omniscience at this moment right now. And I can threaten a Depths next turn. Polluted Delta, go. Time to get the scrappy Mutavault beats in. Play Mutavault, and then important to use Magic Online interface to determine which one's which here. Hope I chose correctly. Nailed it. And I will simply attack for 2. My opponent farts around too long. I'm coming for you. End step Brainstorm. Enjoy that. This is the part where I simply die to show and tell. Basic Swamp. After the Brainstorm. I have options if a Reanimator line is in my near future. I am just going to lose to a show and tell at any point, though. Lotus Petal. Playing around Days. Okay, get wrecked, me. Put in Mazavith as the only option that I have. Okay, Mazavith does engage favorably with Grizzlebrand, at least. For now. Until I'm dead. I'm going to copy Mazavith in the end step with Thespian Stage. I would like to crop rotation for Dark Depths or Caracas and start pressuring here, but I think there's a good chance we go to discard, and then I'm going to need a Bajuka Bog. Archon of Cruelty is in the graveyard with 3 lands now. Life from the Loam. Okay, float mana with Wasteland, crop rotation, Wasteland. Ken Bajuka Bog here. Give me that. And that's what I can do this turn. Just take some of that pressure off. Entomb. He said in the chat he expected the Depths off crop rotation, which that doesn't do anything here. Okay, Animate Dead. I have some options here, which is I could force a Vigor, the Animate, and the Loam. I could also just, and the Lotus Petal. I could also just discard Loam and try to let these Mates of Iths do their job. I don't want Loam in the graveyard, so I'm going to let this happen. Archon is a creature that beats Maze of Ith eventually. Adds the life total, so Grizzlebrand can do stuff. Here comes Grizzlebrand. I will not forget that I have 2 Maze of Iths in play. Okay, let's dredge Loam and try to get something going. I did hit 3 lands here. None of them make green. Play Wasteland. Wasteland your land. Play Mutavault. And then Ancient Tomb is going to be my discard to the Archon. Grizzlebrand's going for it. Big draw 7. If this is a show and tell, I'm just not even going to put anything in. Nope. And there's Omniscience, and my finger's on the concede button. I don't need to wait, figure it out. There's 11 cards in hand. He can attack, draw another one, then draw another 7. He could loop his whole deck here. We're done. Just looking at this deck real quick. Everything that would normally help in a situation like getting paired into show and tell has been replaced with our refractors and safe houses and Griffin Canyons, all our blue-red, our red splash for all these pyroblasts, the built-out saga package where I can expedition map for Caracas to find that more reliably, the main deck graveyard hate, all that stuff had to go in favor of Griffin Canyon and Multiclass Baldric. So the meme is costing us big time here so far, but that's okay. We know what we signed up for. Let's keep going. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the play in round 4 with a side of the deck we haven't seen yet. This is just the Hammer Karn side. I can go Forest, turn 2 Ancient Tomb Refractor, turn 3 Karn. And Manascape Reactor will tap for mana at that point as well. Be reacting to the mana. Oh good, a Badlands. We're dead. Shit. I was having fun for a second there. Okay, Ancient Tomb, Refractor. And I do have 3 Karns. And I'm untapping into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Not quite enough to beat this Grizzlebrand. Pure Reanimator is a much better matchup for lands than Show and Tell or Show and Tell Hybrid Reanimator is. Because we do have Bojuka Bog, Crop Rotation. We have things like Caracas and Maze of Ith that can stop a monster from going too hard on us. And we were not in position, or not quite in position to do this. If this Karn resolved last turn, maybe. But we're a turn behind on all that. Unmask, yeah, which Karn do you want? Dark Ritual, there's more coming. Entomb. Draw 7. Another Dark Ritual. Another Exhume. I'm going to discard, I think it's Yavimaya. I don't want to lose all of my Karn options to one discard spell. Maybe they'll misclick and draw with Grizzlebrand again. That's my out right now. They did have another Thoughtseize. I'm tired, boss. Okay. Endurance comes in. I have all of the crop rotations in already. This is a deck where Book could have its moment to shine. Soulguide Lantern comes in. It's better in the deck than it is elsewhere. Haywire Might, not that good. I'm going to cut Baldric and Blast Zone. And Karn is actually good. That gave us almost a fighting chance until my opponent drew their whole deck and discarded all 3 of my Karns. That wasn't ideal. But it's okay. I'll just shave on the combo pieces a little bit, cut 1 Refractor. Is Loam more important than Exploration? Crop Rotation's the most important card. Mox Diamond might be worse than all of them. Okay, I'm going to try it like this. On the play, I have Bog and Caracas in my opener, which it's better as a crop rotation, but I'm not gonna refuse it. Exploration, play Mutavault, and pass. Went straight to cleanup. Bojuka Bog in the house. Get out. Hope you needed that. And Mutavault. Sack for 2. Leave up green. Leaving up green's not that important because Bajuka Bog's the thing I would rotate for, and I just used it. And now they're on the pivot. Okay, I don't have double green because Boseiju is a stupid legend. Griffin Canyon. Activate Mutavault. Activate Mutavault. Attack for 4. And I guess I run out the Caracas. I don't want to show them that because now they know they can just pivot to Archon. But they didn't have the Entomb anyway. Mutavault's a real clock here. I'm into it. If they're going to discard again, it's Grizzlebrand. Okay, okay. Does this give me something to believe in the world, or is this just as bad as everything else? Barn. I boarded in my Soul Guide Lantern, so that's not here. I could get Mox Diamond and show Endurance. That's what I'm going to do. I could get Coding and turn off their land also. Not sure how important that actually is, though. I can do that next turn. Yeah, I'm going to get Mox Diamond, discard this redundant Boseiju, and that turns on Endurance. Animate Dead, respond with Endurance. Awkwardly, I discarded the Boseiju, which also would have answered the Animate Dead. Cool. Okay. 2 non-games. That is what my opponent signed up to do today, and I hope to engage favorably. Now I got to win one on the draw. They've seen Endurance. I don't think my deck changes here. That Wishing for Mox Diamond was tight, though. Keep. Basically the best hand I could ask for. Maybe if one of the Loams was another Endurance, it would be better. Oh, they have the check. They always have the check. It's fine. If they have Endurance and a turn 1, or Grief and a turn 1, that's really good. They are making moves here. Cool. Oh yeah, we're having a good time. Remember when I said this is basically the best hand I could have? They also have the best hand they could have. I sack Endurance, discard Loam. And what do I even do here? Just die? Dredge Loam. Yeah, I can get the Maze of Ith, which doesn't solve my problems, really. And Maze of Ith does result in 3 damage instead of 9, so I'm going to do what I got to do here. But it sucks. Discard this Loam again. Dredge Loam again. Play my land drop. Pass. Now I'm not going to Dredge Loam again. I got to draw a land. They're fetching their 3rd land. Do we have Show and Tell Monster, or just thinning for the Archon draw? Okay, discard Loam. And now I have to draw a Mana Source to cast the other Loam in my hand to start doing anything. Okay, Grief is kind of whatever. I mean, it takes the Loam from my hand. Okay. It did not read. Oh, okay. It was Show and Tell. Cool. All right. Well, that was an absolute kicking. We just were not ready for them game 1. We were ready for them game 2, and we kept our not draw on the draw game 3, but unfortunately they had their not draw on the play. What are you going to do? Sometimes they have Grief, Black Card, Dark Ritual, Entomb, Reanimate, all in their opening hand when you have 2 answers in yours. Anytime Reanimator keeps 7, you've already lost. That's just a rule of Magic. Off we go. Let's try to fend off an 0-5. We find ourselves in the final round here. I'm going to keep. I have Crop Rotation. I can accelerate a Karn. Let's do it. Oh no. Am I going to get Chalice of the Voided? I am definitely getting Chalice of the Voided right now. Well, the silver lining is that Karn is usually good against decks like this. But the bad lining is that my Karn is going to happen really slowly. Okay, we're just getting 8 casted into the mud. My best draw right now is probably just Raw Dog Bajuka Bog. If this Karn resolves, we could still be in business. It picks off the Chalice, immediately turns off basically their whole deck. But they are a Force of Will deck. Caracas is a good draw. Bajuka Bog's a good draw. Life from the Loam. Do I want to just put that in the bin? Yeah, sure. I'll invest in the future. Loam targeting nothing. I also just noticed that my opponent floated 2 with Ancient Tomb last turn, then didn't use it. I think they misclicked. Urza Saga is trouble. That now gets them cleanly out from under Karn. Oh no, what is this? Kappa? You have Kappa too? I thought they cut this card from the deck because it wasn't good enough anymore. There's like 2 of them in most lists, I think. Well, Kappa kills Karn. So I win this game on the play. I win this game if they don't have Chalice. But they did have both of those things, so I'm living in a fake universe that doesn't exist. I'm going to destroy their Chalice and then lose my Karn to Kappa anyway. At least I can rotate for Dark Depths next turn and maybe still play this game. Or no, I can't, because if they use Emery and just replay Chalice, that grows Kappa big enough to kill my thing, and Karn still dies. Yeah, I'm just getting re-Chaliced here. Yep, super dead. Oh, that's stupid Kappa. we would be stable and in fact winning if it were not for that one, but obviously that's why it's in the deck. Dark Depths off the top right now. The one of Dark Depths. Another Karn. Okay, this is not irrelevant because now I can play the other Karn, blow up the Chalice again, and I still have crop rotation up, which can get depths, which probably doesn't matter. I think I'm a little late here. Once again, my kingdom for a tabernacle. It is really interesting. I wonder if it's just the matchups I got or what, because I put tabernacle in so many decks for so long and all of them were bad. And now suddenly I just want it in every round. Merit Lage doesn't even beat this. There's no Glacial Chasm in the list. Nothing like that going on. Don't have time to book up Exalted Deeds or a Mutavault to do it on. I could just die right now. Yeah, they can attack for exactly 16 right now. My Maze of Ith is in my hand, where it is unhelpful. Yeah, we're dead. Cool. What we're seeing here is a situation where we're just trying to race the legacy format. I talked about it a little bit in the mid-league check-in after round 3, but we've replaced almost all of the reactive and protective elements of this deck with proactive fringe combo pieces and one powerful planeswalker, and we are burning for it basically. Force of Vigor is a good one for the matchup at least, and I am a Karn deck. We have the Puncher's Chance. Haywire Might comes in here, and cards I can cut include. I think this is a deck that can actually beat Book. I'm gonna leave that in. I'm gonna cut Baldric. Shodden Port seems kind of insulting against this deck with all their fast mana, but it's pretty good against exactly Urza Saga. Azabeth fine, Karakas fine. They don't really attack my basics, but I do have green source troubles. Maybe one Mox Diamond down. God, how do you even sideboard with this deck? Every card is important. I'll cut a Safe House and go in on Refractor. And maybe it's one Mutavault. I know that's part of my combo, but it also is just a land that doesn't do a lot on its own. Okay, this hand with a Loam would be a snap keep, as is kind of sucks. If I draw a land, we're in business. I do like the Force of Vigor. I like the Karn, but just too much has to go right. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, here we go. I'll keep this one and send the Lotus Field. Yeah, Crop Rotation, Wasteland 2, Besejus. This is more the correct speed. I like seeing Otawara as their land drop. That means that Otawara is... There's fewer of those I have to think about in the deck. It's one of their few removal spells they play. And I'm going to drop this Thespian Stage into play and pass the turn. I don't like going for the cheeky Wasteland here. They're an Urza Saga deck. I could punish that a little down the road if I'm patient. Sai, Master Thopterist. This card's pretty good. I can, once again, wish for Ur Tabernacle was in my deck. Alright, yeah, Sai resolves. I think what I want to do here is rotate away Thespian Stage and get Karakas. I want to leave my green available, but I can't just let them go hog wild with Sai. Because Sai also stuffs Dark Depths, which would be my plan to stabilize against this wall of Thopters, and now I know what they're cooking with. I can Wasteland the Ancient Tomb Force of Vigor, that's a good one too. Wasteland, take out Tomb, and pass. We're very much the control deck here. If I find Loam, I'm very happy. If I don't find Loam, I am distressed. Either Spellbomb, sure. Mox Opal. The Seiju's not actually a green card. I would love to Force of Vigor, the Thopter, and the Opal in response, and the Bomb in response to the Opal, but not a thing. Turns out. There's nothing worth Besageing in play right now. Lotus Field, interesting. That can cast Force of Vigor next turn, but I'll just drop Canyons for now. We'll continue collecting their Ounce of Flesh every turn here with the Thopter. Just pass the turn. Okay. Okay, now hard cast Force of Vigor is live. I'm just going to play my Forest. I'm not going to get cute with Lotus Field. At least not this turn. Force of Vigor hit the Opal and the Thopter. I didn't go after Spellbomb because I can just draw a card off that. I went for the things that are harder to replace. They're clearly struggling to function over there. This Wasteland was huge. I would love a Loam to get another Wasteland or just draw Karn here and turn off everything they have. I'm in the place where I need to be. I just need to convert it from here. Every land's going to be a forest next turn, so I'm going to play Lotus Field now and sack my 2 other forests. And that was probably bad, because that turns off Beseiju for this turn, but do I care about that? I don't. Hope I'm not punished. They had indicated to me that they were doing anything ever. I might be more worried about that. They saw Beseiju with Bauble. They're trying to keep Metalcraft, or at least Affinity. I don't know how many Emerys and Sighs are locked in their hand right now from Caracas, but I hope it's some number. Haywire Might, what's up? Okay, this is a card I can cast and be pretty happy about. I am on the board. I can attack. I can remove troublesome permanents like Urza Saga if they show up. They know I have a Beseiju. What I'm worried about here is Ancient Tomb Kappa. So am I even worried about that? 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I can just Beseiju a Kappa. That's fine. Opponent's starting to discard. There goes the Sigh I knew about. Life from the Loam. Hello. Thank you. About time. Okay, let's see if my opponent has found a Force of Negation since the last time we checked in on them. Force of Will, I don't even mind. Force of Negation is super annoying. And if this just resolves, we're good. Force of Negation it is. And Kappa is gone from their hand. And we're just playing Drago some more. Hey. Okay, let's hope they don't have 2 Force of Negations. Can I get something to go my way? Nope, absolutely not. Why would anything go my way? It's okay. We are still ahead, tentatively. Precariously. They've pitched a Thought Monitor and a Kappa to those 2 forces. Those are pretty good value, I guess. Alson 0. That hurts you more than it hurts me, doesn't it? Or you're just trying to get a Thoughtcast off the ground right now. Yeah. Okay. Jalison 0 does hurt them more than it hurts me. But if Thought Monitor is about to happen right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have a Thought Monitor, and Otawara is not what they need to cast it. So I think I'm going to Haywire Might Deceit this turn. That basically takes them off 2. Then they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next turn. But yeah, they did just telegraph Thought Monitor real hard. Realms Uncharted. That good. I'm going to attack with Haywire Might first. Then I'm going to try to unchart some realms here. Okie dokie. Rashadan Port. Wasteland. Mutavault. And Urza Saga. Is that what I want here? Or is Tranquil Thicket better? Mutavault, Rashadan Port, Tranquil Thicket, Wasteland. Yeah, that looks fine. Reasonable value pile. They can't give me Wasteland. Absolutely not. I think they have to give me Mutavault and the Thicket. Yep, exactly. And I'm going to exile Seat of the Synod. I know what you're planning. And I'm not interested in it. And I will cycle the Thicket. Come on, 3rd Loam. Okay. Getting there. Maybe. Refractor. Vault, Griffin Canyon, it's all here. Oh no, they drew the replacement. Or I guess they could have had the replacement and just didn't play it last turn, because they already made a land drop. Okay, we're suddenly playing this game again, which is not something I wanted to do. I wanted it to just end. We haven't seen a Karn yet. I don't think I want to besage you this Thought Monitor. Okay, Loam has arrived. Thicket, Wasteland, Wasteland. Okay, go for a Loam. You have another Force of Negation. Did just draw 6 cards. Okay, cool. Wasteland, take out the Seed of the Synod. Mana Refractor, get on the stack. Or Manascape Refractor. I'm threatening lethal next turn. They could either Spellbomb to clear it. If I Wasteland first, then they can't Spellbomb, and I can do all this in combat. If I Besage you, they get blue back, so that's tough. Okay. Things are starting to move. And they have some undeterminable number of zeros stuck in their own hand from their Chalice. Chalice on 0 is much better against their deck than it is against mine, but they did what they needed to do to get off the ground with Thoughtcast. There's another Thoughtcast. Basic Island, that's cheating. And here comes a Kappa. Okay. That's fine, actually, because they have to block this Kappa. Or they have to block my creature next turn with Kappa, or they die. Cycling in the end step. I'll dredge the Loam, let's go. Got a nice spread of good lands in my graveyard there. And another Loam. Okay. Where does this start? Where does it end? And it ends with the Manascape Refractor killing them. 3 green in the pool. Life from the Loam. Oh, wait. Can I do this smarter? If I Besage you, they get an island, which can bounce my creature. Okay, I guess I just have to attack. I'm going to Wasteland first. Wasteland. Lotus Field tap for green. Loam target, Wasteland, Saga, and Tranquil Thicket. Or, no, I think Port's better. Port, Tranquil Thicket, and Thespian Stage. Yeah, okay. That works for me. And then I make a 2/2. And then I make a million. This is my golden opportunity to do this while the Spellbomb is locked down. Okay. They've seen enough here. Cool. They weren't dead. I don't have trample, but we got in there. My hand is good. I'm going to keep. This is soft to Chalice, but I also have Karn on the acceleration if they don't have exactly Chalice. And we saw last game, Wasteland could just kill them. Cool. I'm going to start on Mox Diamond. If this gets countered, we're just in trouble in all sorts of ways. Okay. Discard Blast Zone, play Exploration, and drop 2 Wastelands and pass the turn. Okay. 1 land gives me turn 2 Karn. Or if they don't play Chalice or don't have a counter spell, I could rotate for Ancient Tomb. Or we could just die to Psy. Bubble. Just 1 off Psy. That probably means they have counter spells in their hand, though. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna go for a crop rotation on this Wasteland by myself. An Ancient Tomb, is that what I need here? Or can't get Lotus Field, I don't have 2 lands. I could do what I did last game, bounce the Psy, waste the Karakas, or waste the... Yeah, unfortunately not drawing what I was looking for there. I'm now relegated to backup plan. Loam ends this game. Ancient Tomb is good. I can still crop rotation again next turn. There's a Saga. That's a good one. Oh no, they have the Chalice. Okay, Life from the Loam, please. Life from the Loam. Life from the Loam. Beautiful. Not a Life from the Loam, but it's not a blank. They do have a land for their Saga. That land could also replace Psy, but that seems unlikely here. All right, deck, help me out. Good news. Okay, that is actually really good news. This lets me cast Karn and still have a crop rotation. Taking a token response and blow up Chalice. They can't make another token because their things are turned off over there. They can protect Karn with Maze of Ith, I hope. I'm going to let all this resolve. I feel like they're going to overcommit. Well, what am I even worried about? It's exactly Pithing Needle. And if I show them the Maze first, then I'm in trouble. If they get Needle and just name Karn, that's annoying, but at least I have Null Run in play. Box Opal, that doesn't work. Soul Guide Lantern, that doesn't work. Gotta hope their hand doesn't have Force of Will in it. Okay, green mana. Crop rotate the Mutavault away. Please resolve. Okay. Maze of Ith. And the Karn resolved, and so did the subsequent crop rotation last turn. So I had pretty high confidence, unless they drew Force of Will right now, that this was going to work too. Thoughtcast, that is still a legal play. Another Seed of the Synod that doesn't work. Okay, we've untapped with a Karn. What am I going to do with it? I'm not close to booking. I actually am kind of close to booking, considering how many white sources I actually play and how many are available right now. It's kind of funny how close it is. But I don't think that's what I want to be doing. I could get Bridge online this turn. Scarlet Sanctum. Yeah, I'm going to grab Bridge now. It's just solves so many problems. And I don't even need to crop rotation to get Hellbent. I can maze the Thopter now. Cast. They're loading up on potential Force of Wills over there. They'll come in for Karn. I will not forget my Maze of Ith. No land drop. Their hand is full of spells right now. Ooh, Rekarn. Gonna make another Karn Wish here. I want Coding this time. It's kind of trying to flush out cards that are worth forcing. Because if this Coding resolves, they lose their only source of playing the game at all. Force pitching Sigh. Okay. And I don't really need to do anything else. I could rotate Sanctum into Rishadenport, but I think we can do better. Okay, I just got to stay under that thing. Keep my Ensnaring Bridge holding the fort here. What are my rotation targets? I could get my Saga, but that doesn't really matter with Maze. I could get a Mutavault or a Canyon. I think I want to wait until I have more information. No need to commit to something now and then draw the wrong piece later. Windswept Heath, that's good. That's just a card I can get out of my hand. Karn can start picking off their stuff. Take out this Bauble. And I can crop rotate on their turn. I don't even care if it gets countered. That's not the important thing that's happening. As long as it's out of my hand, it's fine. So fetch. Get a forest. We can move into beginning of combat, but not into attacks. Then rotate away this forest. Okay, they've had enough. We did it. All right. Karn showed up in the final round. Okay, I don't know if it was a rough run of matchups or what exactly, but this felt a lot worse than the first build with Mirren Safe House exclusively. Like the Refractor, I understand that we're trying to sidestep the graveyard hate, but the thing that made the Safe House so nutso is you can just resolve one at any time and then Realms Uncharted or Canyon Mutavault. And you just don't have to find the other two, and Canyon Mutavault go to your graveyard immediately, and then you pop off. Realms Uncharted is much worse when it's actually Realms Uncharted and when it's not Entomb Reanimate to go with your Mirren Safe House. And I suspect that if we want to do the Safe House, then we don't Refract or vice versa. It did just kind of pull the deck in two directions while undermining the fact that it's a competent lands deck. Because now it's not a competent lands deck. Only 3 Wastelands, 1 Port, 1 Saga, 1 Maze, 1 Depths. Like we're kind of farting around here. And the strength of the last deck was it gave lands a combo kill. And now we've given combo a lands mana base for some reason. I think this went in the wrong direction. In the exploration of science, we went too close to the sun, and I would recommend going back and revisiting a high density of Mirren Safe House and Realms Uncharted, because that's the combo. Or go lighter, see how thin you can get this Manascape Reactor combo. Give up on Safe House. Maybe you don't even play Realms in that deck, and just play like a pretty normal lands deck with some number of refractors that can pop off if you get the window. Right now we're walking down the middle of two reasonable lanes, and we're kind of just not going either direction. That's all right, though. We did an 05, and we explored new deck building territory. That's what this channel is all about. Milan, thank you for continuing to send in your crazy brews. Happy to play them anytime. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.